what were my first experiences writing? Honestly, if I think about that, I think about young authors in elementary school. I think I went to young authors maybe 2 or 3 times, as little as maybe the first or second grade for a retelling of the Three Little Pigs, except they were cats. And then I know I went again in like fifth or sixth grade. I absolutely lived for young authors, but I didn't really ever think of it again until high school. I published a poem in high school, and it was not my intention to set out and publish it. We had a writing assignment, and we were supposed to read the poem in class. I am very embarrassed in front of people, especially at that time in life. I've learned to public speak now, but at that time in life, no, I couldn't stand up in front of a class and read. My classmates were often bullies and made me cry. So I stood in the back of the class and I read my poem. And surprisingly, nobody made fun of me. Nobody said anything about it except my teacher. He called me in after class, and I was prepared to get some sort of talking to or some sort of just, you know, downgrading, something. And he said, Miss Stevenson, like, that was really good. Ever thought of taking it further? And I said, no, not really. He said, well, there is a publishing contest right now, and I think we should fix this up and send it in. And really, all we did was change a few things here and there. About one sentence, we just switched some of the wording, and I was able to publish it that year. I still never really thought about myself as a writer, though. Even into college, like, I went on a orientation trip, and they had us journal each day. Most people did about a paragraph, and that was that. I did about 5 pages each day, and by the end, I filled up an entire composition notebook. The advisors of the trip were like, "Hey, that is great. We would love to read it, but we do not have time to read a novel right now, so you get an A plus." I still never really thought about myself as a writer. But as I would come home from my adventures, I'd come home from my summer in Wyoming, I'd come home from Oregon, I'd come home from living in Maine. All my family and friends would always be like, "Oh my gosh, that is the coolest thing ever. You should write a book." And once my adventurous lifestyle kind of died down a little bit, once I was no longer doing search and rescue work and firefighting on the sides and stuff, where I just had a main job and I'd go to work and I'd come home every day, I got kind of bored with life. I was like, what do I do with all this spare time? So I decided to write Love on the Fireline. I decided to write a book, finally. And I really enjoyed the process. I really enjoyed the thought of maybe sharing a story with somebody, sharing a laugh, or even helping somebody. I loved the idea of that. So I continued on. And then I continued on again. And then I'm about to continue on again. And I love that. So what inspired me to write? I'm not really sure. I guess just my adventures and living the life that I've lived with a bunch of people that encourage me.